Stave Four, the last of the spirits. Bruce stared at the empty spot where the image of the Joker had just been. He was now anxiously awaiting the next spirit. After a little bit, the T-Rex statue on display began to move.
What the hell?
The statue melted into a brown mud and reshaped into a slightly humanoid form with green glowing eyes.
Hello, Batman.
Clayface. I should have known. You're the ghost of Christmas yet to come, I presume.
The future has not yet taken shape.
All right. Let's get this over with.
Take my hand.
Bruce submitted to his fate and took the spirit's hand. Clay formed around his body, and within an instant he and the spirit found themselves in what seemed to be Gotham City at wintertime, only it was far brighter and louder than normal. The old crumbling buildings had mostly been replaced by colorful steel skyscrapers. The cars soared through the air without the use of wheels.
Welcome to the year 2059.
This is the future?
Yes.
It's a little brighter than I thought it'd be.
We're in Neo-Gotham. Much of your city has been replaced, and for years now
Enough. This has been a long night filled with a lot of hard memories for me, and I'd just like to fast forward to the lesson. Remember, I've read A Christmas Carol. You're going to show me a bunch of my loved ones talking about someone who died and how they don't miss him, and then we'll travel to the cemetery and I'll find out it's me. Can we be done now?
The spirit's fist grew enormously and he punched Bruce into the ground.
You will learn your place, Bruce Wayne. You cannot speak to me as if I am Matt Hagen or any of your so-called villains. I am a being beyond your comprehension, and you will obey me.
Bruce, sensing a losing battle, submitted.
Lead the way, spirit.
That's better.
He and the spirit traveled to the GCPD, where they found a bustling workplace. It was as busy as it was in the present, though the technology was far more advanced. The spirit directed Bruce to the last two pictures framed on the wall. One read, Commissioner James Gordon died of old age, 1966 to 2041. And the other read, Commissioner Barbara Gordon died in the line of duty, 2001 to 2049.
After her dad died, she took over as the commissioner, even despite the wheelchair. But she was a little too dedicated to the job. Barbara didn't have a family. She barely had friends. One day, during field work, she took a hit to the back from a rock, and whatever damage was done to her spine had made it more sensitive. She died right there. Something that should never have killed her. Something so unceremonious.
Bruce looked at the photo of the older Barbara in disbelief. He always sort of assumed she'd retire someday.
I can't believe she went out like that. Something so basic.
She was killed in a simple way by a random street thug.
Sound familiar?
The spirit had shifted into the shape of Lamont Cranston.
Don't do that.
At once, he returned to his Clayface form.
I have to remind you that her paralysis wasn't my fault.
The spirit changed forms again.
No, maybe not. She could have been there for her.
She has Jim. She has the Titans.
And yet she looks up to you. You're Batman. Need I remind you that you've been through a broken back yourself? That didn't stop you, did it?
It didn't stop her either. She was the commissioner.
The spirit changed forms again.
She shut everyone out like you did. Year after year, she spent Christmas with her father less and less. She focused on her work. I ask once again, does that
sound familiar?
Bruce saw his younger self staring back at him. The spirit then returned to his Clayface form.
But that's not all.
The spirit took Bruce's hand, and again they were off. The pair were on a train which had a screen playing the news on it. A blue 2D image of a smiling reporter was recapping a story.
Yes, folks, it's Christmas. It was 20 years ago today that the vigilante known as the Red Hood died in a massive shootout.
Red Hood?
I'm not at liberty to reveal too much. This is still in your future. But I can say that the Red Hood was once an ally of yours. Some events took place, and he became this.
Bruce looked at the screen, which showed the violent Red Hood on a rampage against some criminals.
They say lead by example. What kind of example are you setting, Batman?
This was supposed to be a good thing. Batman was supposed to inspire hope among the good people of Gotham.
Maybe to those who don't know you, but
sidekicks are a different story.
Oh. What happens to Tim?
Returning to his clay form, the spirit took Bruce to a small apartment where a middle-aged Tim Drake sat in front of the TV.
He gave up hero work a long time ago.
Well, that's not so bad.
The spirit nodded.
It could have been worse.
The pair then found themselves at Titan's tower. Standing before them was an aged Nightwing with an eye patch.
There was only one member of your family that stayed a superhero and on the straight and narrow.
Dick?
He still leads the Titans. He's still married to Starfire, and their daughter is happy and healthy.
So something turned out right after all. It's good to see some tenderness connected with this world.
There's only one thing he doesn't have.
What's that?
An older Starfire entered the room.
Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Corey. What? Why are you making that face at me?
You should call him.
Dick shook his head.
I stopped trying a long time ago.
A father in his life.
I really thought you'd never give up on him.
So did I. I guess things change. He never wanted to be involved in our lives. We were just soldiers to him.
Bruce felt off balance. Was this really what was coming?
I've seen enough.
No. No, you haven't.
The Spirit and Bruce found themselves at Arkham Asylum. It was more run down than ever, and it seemed to be abandoned.
This is what happens when you stop seeing your villains as people.
Bruce looked around and saw the decaying bodies of several people. One of them was wearing a green and black suit covered in question marks. One was wearing burlap and a cloak. One was holding a ventriloquist dummy. Another was wearing a jester costume. And one was wearing a two-tone suit with a large hole in his head and a revolver in his hand.
Harvey?
He grew more and more dependent on the coin until he couldn't even think without it. Every morning he asked it if he should live or die. One day it said die.
My God.
The Spirit shape-shifted into Two-Face.
I'm sorry. Wait, you're not Harvey.
The burned half of his face grew and overtook his whole body until he turned into a monster. The monster grew larger and eventually engulfed Bruce. When it turned back into Clayface, they found themselves in the Batcave. It was clearly far older than before, so it was still 2059. But there was more technology than ever. Bruce steadied himself, ready to see his own grave like Ebenezer Scrooge. But that's not what he saw. Instead, he saw a nearly 80-year-old version of himself sitting at the computer.
I'm still alive. I guess Clark always said I was too stubborn to die.
At that moment, the elevator into the Batcave opened and a young man came out. He walked towards the computer and looked at the screen.
Can I ask where you've been?
You remember that girl, Dana?
Yeah.
Well, I just broke up with her.
Why?
She kept wanting to go out and do things, but I've got Batman stuff. And besides, having to keep this a secret isn't good for a relationship. She loves what she thinks I am, and not what I really am.
At this, the older Bruce stopped typing and spun around in his chair.
Terry, I wonder if you're taking this too far.
What do you mean?
I think maybe you're isolating yourself.
Isn't that the best way to do that job?
Sort of. But there's a limit.
I'm just doing what you did when you were Batman.
You refuse to join the Justice League. That's something I would never do. They need a Batman to ground them, to keep them stable.
Old Bruce slowly stood up, his knees and back cracking.
And you know something? The world needs Terry McGinnis, too. He's... What was that word you used to use? Shui.
Terry started to walk away towards the suit display.
That's just dumb kid stuff.
He pressed a button, and his batsuit opened up and formed onto him.
Terry McGinnis hasn't done anything real. Batman has.
The new Batman walked to his Batmobile and climbed in.
Bull crap.
With that, the Batmobile flew away, old Bruce grumbled, and returned to his computer.
So that's my successor.
Angry, isn't he?
I really don't know what to think of this. I figured I'd just be dead, but this is much worse.
Bruce punched a cave wall, though his hand went through it since he wasn't actually there.
All I've done is corrupt people and drive them away. I'm no hero.
The Spirit stared at him stoically. Bruce fell to his knees in front of the ghost of Christmas future.
Tell me, Spirit, are these the shadows of the things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only? Can I stop this? Can I? Please!
The Spirit's form shifted with every blink of the eye. Alfred, Dick, Jason, Barbara, Tim, Superman, Jim, Selina, Two-Face, Terry, and back to Clayface.
Spirit, I beg you, send me back.
The Spirit melted into a pool and filled up a ravine in the cave. Tendrils shot out and pulled Bruce in. And suddenly, Bruce found himself face down in his own bed. Stave Five, the Batman.
I'm back. I'm back.
Bruce came bursting out of his room and ran down the hall, running into Alfred in the living room. Alfred was sitting on the couch, reading the paper and drinking tea.
Good morning, Master Bruce. I see you've had a restful sleep.
You could say that. Alfred, what day is it?
Why, it's December 25th, Christmas Day. Perhaps you really have taken too many hits to the head.
They did it all in one night. Of course they did. They can do whatever they like.
Am I missing some...
Bruce hugged Alfred.
Yes, definitely too many hits to the head.
Merry Christmas, old friend.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Bruce darted towards the front door.
Might I ask to where you're off?
I have some people to visit.
Wearing that?
Bruce realized he was still wearing the bat suit. He must have slept in it.
Right. I'll go get changed.
Ooh, Mr. Krabs?
Yep,
Okay, well, that's not fair. You can shapeshift.
wouldn't matter anyway. You're the world's greatest detective.
Second greatest.
Right.
I'll get it.
Dick went downstairs to greet whoever was requesting access. To his surprise, it was Bruce and Alfred.
Dick, I hear congratulations are in order.
Yeah. Corey and I just had the baby. What are you doing here? Oh, God. Is there some kind of mission you need me for?
No, I just came to see you.
The three headed upstairs to the party.
Everybody act cool. It's Batman.
Did you tell everyone?
It came up. You're not mad, are you?
You know, why not? The more the merrier. Within reason.
The Titans were all pretty quiet, unsettled by Bruce's presence. He walked through the party, shaking hands with everybody.
Now, Dick, I believe I've seen almost everyone.
Dick and Starfire looked at each other, and then Dick left the room, returning with a baby girl in a bundle of blankets and hesitantly handing her to Bruce.
Meet Mari Grayson.
So this is my granddaughter.
Your...
Bruce nodded. Dick handed the baby back to Starfire.
Which would make me your...
Bruce hugged Dick.
I am so very proud to call you my son. You're the best of us.
And with that, another hug.
I feel like we should be clapping. Should we be clapping?
Don't ruin the moment.
So, staying for dinner?
Yes, but I've got one more stop first.
Bruce looked over at Barbara.
I'll get it.
Jim Gordon came down the stairs and answered the door.
Bruce?
Bruce looked very stern at Gordon.
What are you doing, Commissioner? Crime doesn't take the day off, and neither should you. Need I remind you I donate to the police department?
Come on, it's Christmas. Where do you get off yelling at me?
You always put the city second and focus on your family. And therefore, I have decided to increase funding to the GCPD.
There was a moment of silence before Bruce couldn't hold his grim expression any longer.
I really had you going there, didn't I?
Oh, you sure did.
Anyway, Merry Christmas. I've got to get going.
Barbara wheeled in.
I can stay, though.
Barb? He hugged his daughter.
Hey, Bruce, can I ask where you're in such a hurry to get to?
We're going to Titan's Tower.
You and Alfred are doing Christmas with the Teen Titans?
Well, you never want to spend this time of year alone, do you, Jim?
Gordon smiled.
No. I guess you don't.
Bruce and Alfred returned to the tower for dinner and games. For one night, Batman rested. Meanwhile, at Arkham...
What's this?
Came in for us. Said it's from Wayne Industries.
Wade Industries?
Let's see what's inside.
A full ham?
He sent us a full ham. Good old Bruce.
From that day on, things were different in Gotham City. As it turned out, a happy Batman is a more effective Batman, one that fully embraced family and friendship. He trusted everyone more, and everyone trusted him more for it. The Bat family finally felt like a family, and no one could ask for a better father than the Batman. And so, as Barbara Gordon observed,
God bless us, everyone.